Okay, here we are with the best show ever made. Returning here this summer in August 29th, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. By far the most magnificent and wonderful television series the world has ever seen, with the finest writing and a true fidelity to Tolkien's work. Rings of Power, Season 2, the very first trailer. Here we go.
An evil, ancient and powerful.
There's Halbrand. And this is Durin. Durin, son of Durin. Not to be confused with Duran Duran. Venom. This is Venom from the Spider-Man movies. He's probably infected, I don't know, maybe Galadriel or something, which would explain a lot. There she is. Very serious Galadriel. There's Elrond, young Elrond, before he had the Widow's Peak. Some sort of sorceress. I'm assuming this is maybe in the east. Because Gandalf and Eleanor Brandyfoot, the Harfoot, were headed east. That looked kind of like it eastern to me. We got to have some magic, right? And probably some of that's going to be between young Gandalf, baby Gandalf, you know. And here's some evil tree vines. Tolkien always wrote about evil trees, you know. Okay, there's Celebrimbor. I'm assuming right here is he's looking at the arrival of Annatar, right? Who presents himself as a, you know, as a powerful giver of gifts and teacher and all this.
I think he has been here. I think he's been here among us all along.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's Galadriel talking. And here we have Halbrand Sauron with Legolas cosplay. Okay, two things. First of all, I hate how they do elf hair in Lord of the Rings. I hate it in the movies, I hate it in the Hobbit movies, and I hate it here. It just, for the most part, not every character, some of them look better than others, but a lot of them look really dopey. The hair just looks silly. It's too straight. It's too straight, and it's cut too straight. There's no layers, there's no waves, there's no motion. It looks like they all look like they're wearing silly wigs with silly pointy ears. And now I know it's sort of hard to translate elves into live action, right? It's a little difficult, and I understand that, but I swear to God, you could just it's got to be better than this. That's the first point I'm making. Second point, okay, at first when I watched this trailer for the first time, I thought, oh, you have to be fucking kidding me. Halbrand's disguise is just putting on a wig and pointy ears, and that's deceiving everybody. But later in this trailer, you're seeing a version of Annatar who looks very different than this. I think he looks different, and I'm pretty sure that he takes on one visage in front of elves, and then this is his true form that we see, you know, that we see, but they don't see. He gets a little smirk, like, haha, I fooled them, those silly elves. August 29th, that's like 2 or 3 weeks after House of the Dragon should wrap up its 8th and final Season 2 episode. So they are giving a little bit of room, a little berth between the two, so that we don't, you know, constantly make comparisons about how House of the Dragon is so much better. Okay, here we've got a big whale octopus thing. And I'm assuming that this is another scene where Galadriel's on a raft and jumps off, or falls off in a storm or whatever, and then Sauron saves her. Though it's Annatar this time.
Every soul in Middle Earth
is older Durin. Okay, so we saw some of like Elendil and some fighting, it looks like, in Numenor. And here we have an orc. I do think maybe one of the best things about the show is they do orcs really well. That's one of the things that I liked about the first couple episodes, is when they introduced the orcs and they were pretty scary, and like the makeup and the special effects on the orcs was really good. Much better than in the Hobbit movies. Darkness would bind them. Darkness would bind them. Yes, here we have the elven rings. A whole bunch of mess of rings on this one hand. But this reminds me of how the first season ended. I'm so confused about the timeline, because I'm pretty sure that in the lore, the actual lore, Anatar comes and helps them make a bunch of rings, including lesser rings and eventually like the 7 and the 9 rings for dwarves and men. And then when he leaves, the elves make these, or Celebrimbor makes these elven rings in secret. And of course, Sauron makes the One Ring in secret. And it, of course, can bring all the 7 and the 9 and all the lesser rings under its control, but it can't, he can't find the 3 because the 3 were made without him. I could be rusty on my Tolkien, but I feel like they've really gotten this backwards in this show. They have him make the 3 first, together. That's what he shows them to do first, rather than all the lesser rings. So these rings would be naturally, inherently under his knowledge and sway. So I don't really understand how this works. It seems like such a huge snafu. Yep, there's Durin the Elder with a dwarf, I'm assuming one of the dwarven rings. That's fancy. It looks pretty. Oh. That was Arendir. Let's go back just a tiny bit. He does a little backflip thingy that's... We gotta watch that. That's pretty cool, boy. Let me tell you. Whoa, look at him jump off that, swinging around. Whoa, right over that guy, man. That looks like Isildur in the background, right? So Isildur's hanging out with Arendir and learning how to do some acrobatics. And here we've got Numenor. And there's an eagle flying down. Yep, that's one of the giant eagles. Ah, Elpharazon. Elpharazon is the guy that's like, they took our jobs, we gotta get rid of those elves. And everyone's like, yeah, fuck the elves. And it's like, there's literally just one elf. It's one elf. She didn't take any of your jobs. Like, what are you guys talking about? Anyways, Elpharazon is like the bad guy who's gonna... I mean, he's like a great warrior in general, right? And he leads his people to ruin. None of this happens all at the same time, though. This is a much different... This is way... The fall of Numenor is much later than... I'm sorry, Numenor is much later than the rings. Again, I'm rusty on my Tolkien, but it's much later. That was Theo. Looks kind of like a younger version of Isildur. Maybe they're the same person, and there's some time travel. Okay, this looks like... It looks like Numenor again, but it could be somewhere else. But I'm assuming we're going to see some fighting in Numenor. It could be somewhere else. Ah, Adar. I thought Joseph Mawle in season 1 was the best actor in that season. I loved his performance. I thought, man, they should have just made a show about this character. Although he had one of the goofiest scenes when they had the title card that went from the Southlands to Mordor. He was recast. Joseph Mawle quit the show. Didn't really give a straightforward reason why, but you know it's because it was so bad he was embarrassed to be a part of it. They recast Sam Hazeldine, and you can tell he looks much different. I think they're kind of making him, they're like hamming up his like deformities, his orcishness, and I think maybe that's how they're gonna get away with the recasting. Maybe when the Southlands became Mordor with the Rube Goldberg volcano, maybe there's like some radiation or something that makes orcs more orcish. Gandalf. This is like our first glimpse of Gandalf this whole trailer. He's slamming the ground. He's like, I'm good. Baby, I'm good. This must be Eleanor. This is our only glimpse of a Harfoot. And I can't confirm it. It could also be Gandalf again. It could be anybody. But I think that this is our one quick glimpse of a Harfoot. And hey, I don't mind there being fewer Harfoots in this show. They were actually kind of terrible, awful little monsters. Not like hobbits. I love hobbits, and I was expecting to really like the Harfoots, but they were terrible. All right, Galadriel getting in a fight. She's the general of the Northern Armies. Look at her. Look at that face. Oh my God. I feel bad for Morfydd Clark, but my God, her facial expressions, the grin she had riding the horse in slow motion is still one of the most hideous things I've ever seen. Ah, and here we have Elrond, looking, I think, in his armor a little bit more serious, a little grittier, a little more dangerous, a little less like a girly man. He's such a girly man. charging. Okay. Oh, and here we have. So okay, let me just get it forward a little bit more. Okay, he doesn't look the same here as he did earlier. He looks very different. So this is what I'm assuming his disguised self is going to be in the show. This is what he appears to the elves as. Then we get flashes of him in his, sexy Sauron face. But I don't know why the trailer is like spilling the beans on all of this. Like now we know that the elves figure it out in season 2. Maybe it would have been interesting to have that not revealed so soon. And big magic. Lots of big magic, of course. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, that's it. I don't know. I pretty much said everything I need to say about this. Well, we watched it, but I will say this. I don't know that this looks any worse than season 1. I don't know that it looks any better than season 1. It kind of looks like more of the same to me. Like they've talked about it's going to be darker and grittier. Maybe there's just less, good feelings because it's already, all the bad stuff's already in the works, right? But I don't know. It just looks like more of the same. I'm excited to write about it, to make videos about it, because it was such a clusterfuck last time around that there was just tons of content to be made and lots of fun to be had with that. And I guess I'm excited to do that again. I'm excited to skewer this show. And if I'm wrong and it's great and it turns out to be really awesome, bad elf wigs aside, I'm happy to, eat my wizard hat. But I'm pretty sure that this looks so much like more of the same that's exactly what we're going to get. Now, I don't know if they're going to drop all the episodes on August 29th. I wonder if Fallout was kind of like Amazon testing the waters of just doing the Netflix binge model. I hope not, because I like the weekly model. It allows us to have a conversation about each episode together every week, and that's more fun. But I wouldn't be surprised. I do think that if they drop it all at once, that shows a really striking lack of confidence in the series, because it's going to come under less scrutiny. There'll be less conversation about it, and they'll be able to brush it under the rug a lot quicker that way. So we'll see. August 29th, again, House of the Dragon is coming out soon as well. That's like June 16th, I believe. There's a new trailer which HBO dropped for House of the Dragon. I need to go watch that now and talk about that. They dropped it an hour after this trailer dropped, which is hilarious. Kind of a dick move, kind of baller. I think that it's definitely intentional, kind of like, hey, our competitor just released this goofy ass trailer. Now check out our actually serious fantasy show in this trailer. But I haven't watched it yet, and frankly, I do think that even in the much superior Game of Thrones universe, a lot of the Targaryen wigs look as goofy as the elf wigs in Lord of the Rings. It's hard to get wigs right. I actually think The Witcher, after The Witcher, the only thing that got better about The Witcher show as it went on is Geralt's wig got better. Everything else got worse, but his wig got better. We have not seen this advancement in wigs in other series, however. So hopefully we will see technological advancements in wiggery. Is wiggery a word? There's probably a better word. Or not a better word, but a more official word. And I'm just rambling now. So let me know what you thought of this. To me, nothing egregious, terrible stood out that made it look worse than season 1. But there wasn't anything that made me think, I'm actually excited for this now. This looks so much better. It just looks like more of the same. All right, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Peace.